There are three things I often talk about in my career that have been my guiding principles. One, do kick-ass science. Number two is collaborate like hell. But the third is make a difference. For me, it starts with what's the question? What's the problem? What are we trying to address here? My dad was in the Army, and I was an Army brat in Fort Sill. We ended up moving to Edison, New Jersey, where I went to high school at J.P. Stevens. You know, I was always very interested in science and math. And so when I went to Rutgers, I think it was an eye towards ultimately going to medical school or veterinary school. I quickly realized that neither of those were my passion. In my senior year, I took on a research project with Dr. Bob Cousins, who was a young professor at the school. I thought I'd be going in there and doing menial tasks, you know, washing the glassware, maybe looking over someone's shoulder at what they were doing. And he was amazing. He just basically said, no, this is your project. I got to almost immediately start doing experiments. And it was that sense of the unknown, the sense of just, you know, asking questions. If you don't raise questions, you don't know what you're going to get. And he really taught me how to make sure you were always thinking outside of dogma, outside of what may be the expectation of what the results might be. The challenge in the diabetes space, or in my early research, the problem became very clear, which is we have an immune system that is inadvertently attacking our own tissue. So the question is, where can we attack the attacker? And it was that question, being able to say, could we reinstate, rebalance the immune system back to a state of homeostasis? That has been what I've been asking for 40 years. We found that this anti-CD3 antibody called teplizumab was able to modify the immune system in humans so that you would give just a single 2-week course of the drug and then saw prolongation of tolerance for years. We were very excited. This was started in the late 80s, and it took us over 30 years actually to finally cross the finish line, and that drug was approved in November of 2022 to treat patients just after they're diagnosed with diabetes and even before they're actually diagnosed with diabetes. You know, type 1 diabetes is a disease of children more often. And when I was at University of Chicago, getting to interact with a number of these parents who had kids who were 2 years old and were already having to take insulin, it felt to me that this was an area where I could make a difference. Many of the experiences that I had at Rutgers have really been influential throughout my life. I was lucky enough to have joined the Rutgers crew team my freshman year. You're trying to get 8 people to row together, to think as one. It's not how strong any individual is, it's not how much endurance anyone has, but it's how well they work together, which determines whether you're going to be successful. It was one of my earliest experiences in the value of teamwork and the ability of teams to excel beyond what any individual could do. Being inducted in the Hall of Distinguished Alumni is really humbling, and it's also very rewarding, as many of your colleagues and others you respect a lot have selected you among so many amazing people that have gone through Rutgers.